Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back. So I decided this month because most of the paychecks are now going to be going into next month, with the goal being that all of the paychecks from the previous month will go into the following one. It doesn't really make sense to do like a half paycheck video, I guess, or like a half month paycheck video, because there's not like a lot that would happen. So I'm just going to combine the last two paychecks and I'm going to kind of do it that way. If anything else comes up, then I'll probably do like a separate video or something, like this past weekend where I went out with my boyfriend because he came to visit. His birthday is towards the end of this month, but he came over. We went out to a really nice restaurant to go eat, not like super expensive, even though we did look at some of those, but we wanted to kind of stay a little bit reasonable in what we were going to spend. And it was still really, really delicious. So that was really cool. We were able to catch up. I was actually able to see him for we do video calls every once in a while, but it's just not the same as having the person in front of you. It's still great to be able to do that. But I was really, really happy to see him. And I wish he could have just stayed the whole week, but it's okay. He'll come back at some point or I'll go over there to visit. But it was great. I gave him one of his birthday gifts early. So he left and he was happy. He sent me a picture and everything. And it was a mouse that he's been wanting, apparently, but he doesn't tell me these things. So I asked him on Saturday, like what he wanted. And then as soon as I knew, I went on Amazon. I got it next day delivery at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And then I just threw it in the air mattress that he was sleeping on while he's over here. And then, of course, he comes out, doesn't see it. I have to like turn him around and make him like, like guide his head down so he could see that there was a gift on his bed. But yeah, so that happened. It was amazing. I just had a really, really good time. And then he left on Sunday. He stayed as late as possible, but it's like a 2-hour or so drive. And then it started raining. So I sent him on his way because I wanted to make sure that he would get home safely. And he did, and then we talked more on the phone as if we hadn't seen each other the entire weekend already. But yeah, so apart from that, he took a look at my computer because he likes to do that kind of stuff and pretty much said, hey, you need a new GPU, which is not anything that I have in plan to purchase at this time. And he had given me one last year, like a recommendation. And last year it was around $600. And this year that recommendation is now upwards of $750 or so, give or take. And it's too much. I don't play the type of video games that require like a hardcore, really good, like top of the line GPU. So I don't need to spend $700 on one. So he gave me a few more recommendations that are a little bit better with tax and everything, upwards of about 5, which is better than almost at 8. So I'm okay with that. It is going to take a little while. It might take a few months. I don't plan on changing the targets for the tech category because for me, it's not really an emergency situation, and it's not like I have to hurry up and get this situation. The GPU I have, yes, is old, and it was, I believe, used when we bought it. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was. It is one of the only things on my computer that have not had any change within the past 2 years, and it's a lot older than that. So I did know that it was coming up. It's coming up a little bit sooner than I expected, but I still think I have a few good months with this one before it really starts malfunctioning. So I think I'm okay for now. So that's going to be for much later. Let's get rid of these here. Approve. And then 8,067. I have to say, having those sinking funds and then having the Christmas fund where I'm saving, and a lot of the categories in the fund section where they're kind of just accumulating is really boosting up my checking account to numbers that I've never seen. And I've been working for a very, very long time. And I've never seen this much in my checking account. So it's been a really it's been interesting to have that be a thing, I guess. Okay. Oh, why is this all over the place? Okay, there we go. This was the restaurant that we went to, so I'm just gonna approve that. Oh no, this was not the restaurant. This was delivery. I don't think the restaurant total has come in yet, which is fine. I'll just wait for it to come in. And then let's go ahead and approve those. And this one here for $14.67 is not actually self-care. This one will be Get Cool. And everything else looks good. Let's reconcile that. And then Freedom. So apart from the restaurant, we also went to see a movie. We watched Mortal Kombat, which I'm not a... Oop, I can't spell. I'm not a movie reviewer of any sort or anything like that. I usually just keep all my thoughts to myself. It was fun. It was a fun movie. You can't take it too seriously. You kind of have to look past some of the dialogue, but overall, I really enjoyed the action and the fight scenes and everything. So it was great. Everything else is good here. And that should be $238.35. Yes. All right. So last time when we left off with the plan for May, we were able to assign everything up to the fees and services, which we only had $23 left. Now we have $3,600. Everything that's left over here is definitely going to be less than 36. So a huge portion of that is going to be going into June. So I'm very excited for that. So let's just go ahead and clear that one. And then we're going to take these underfunded. There we go. And then for fun, perfect. Oh, and I do have this capital. There we go. This one actually needs to be split. So part of this was for his portion of food, and the other one was, I'm going to put it under groceries. He likes to go to the home and feed store that I go to get certain things for the house when he's over here, because they have a lot of local things that they sell. So like local honeys, jams and things like that. So he gets a few things when he's over here. That's on the wrong side. There we go. All right. Perfect. So with the GPU situation, that's not really that serious. I do have a $25 check that came in from a doctor's office that I haven't visited in years. It's an eye care doctor's office. I had really, really severe dry eye, and I also had some scarring on my corneas that was very old, but it was like just wreaking havoc on my eyesight. So we went through a number of eye drops and a number of tests and just verifying that everything was good until I kind of graduated from it, and like I'm okay. I just use eye drops every so often as I need it, but the whole other situation kind of resolved itself very nicely. But it has been so many years that I go to this office. They don't have my new address, and somehow, some way, I guess through the power of Google, they track me down and they send me a check for $25. And I did call just to verify that it was accurate, and they said yeah. So I guess they're just wanting to balance their books, and they figured, oh no, we overcharged by $25. So there we go. all of that being said, I'm going to go ahead and put the $25 into the gadgets. Since it's extra, it's not really part of like my budget. I could have put it to next month, but it's fine. I'll just put it on here, and then that'll give me a little bit of a boost. Not a lot, but a little bit, because I did technically purchase $22 recently on just some headphone replacements. I listen to music before I go to sleep, and I have like a headband that has like the headphone inserts that you can listen while you're sleeping and stuff, or just put something to help you fall asleep. And mine, one of the ears cuffs was just not working, so I just got 2 replacements just in case. So that'll kind of cover that, and it'll keep me on like $330 for building that up. Other than that, May is done. May is full up. I did go grocery shopping recently. It's not in here as of yet. It hasn't come in because it was just this past weekend actually. So I'm still going to be within the 360. In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to have $60 left. So I'm very happy that I'm doing really good with that. And then with the eating out, the bill was about $80 or so. So that's definitely going to be within the available amount here. So nothing is going to upset the balance of June at this moment. And I really am trying very hard to make sure that I'm kind of holding back on a few things, like getting extra things and groceries that we might not need at the time, or ordering out again and like going over in that, because I really just want this month ahead thing to really work out. So that was what all the updating in the targets and everything was. And when I did go grocery shopping this past weekend, I didn't have to buy any like meats because we still have some from the last Costco run and the last grocery run that we did. So I was able to put a lot of the money that I spent towards just like basic things, just cereals, fruits, vegetables, bread. We got so much different types of bread. We got bagels, we got loaves, we got sliced bread. I mean, there's a whole bunch. I got stuff for sandwiches, some deli meats, just things that I can make that are quick and they're easy and they'll fill me up, and I won't feel like there's nothing here. I have to go out and, you know, buy something. It's very simple, right? This isn't rocket science. This isn't something that's so out of the norm, you know, like, oh wow, that's such incredible, you know, thinking there. But I'm trying, not just for financial reasons, but for health reasons too. I'm just trying to get into like a better habit of what I eat, what I make, and really cut back on how much I do go out to eat. And if I do go out to eat, try to make better choices. That's not saying that it's going to be an every time thing, because I think if I do it every time, I'm just going to deprive myself from things I want, and it's just going to get worse. So, but at least more of the time I'm making healthier food choices rather than just eating all the good tasting but bad for you stuff. All right, so June. We are starting with June here. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the vault. So $901. One of the other things that I like this month ahead situation that I'm getting into is that I'm able to have the money set aside already at the beginning for the savings. So now I've put my transfers into the savings at the beginning of the month because the money's there. I don't have to wait for it, and I don't have to worry about not having enough for anything else, because all that is going to come, and all that is kind of already handled and taken account of. So the reserve 75, 50, 100, good. bills for 10. Okay. So only 441 left. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do these individually, just until I don't have anything else. And that would be groceries. So we got all the way down to groceries this time. Last time we stopped at fees and services. So every month, the more that I do this, we're going to be able to fill out more and more of the categories until we're going to come to a time. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I don't make any sudden financial decisions that kind of take me a step back or anything. But it's going to make it so that there's going to come a month where both paychecks are just going to fill up the following. And at that point, just going to be working on filling up the next month over, and so on and so forth. That will be so good. But, you know, just taking it easy, taking it one paycheck at a time as it comes, and making sure that all of this is kind of geared towards the more important things and leaving fun, as always, for last. Okay, so all of that is assigned. I think the only last things here that were kind of changes was, I had mentioned that I wasn't going to get any new subscriptions. I did get one new subscription, but only for 1 month, because I wanted to watch a couple of shows, and they're already out and they're already completed. And I already watched one of them and I cried, and it was great. It was a good cry. It wasn't like a sad cry or anything. It was a really good show. So I watched it. It was fun. I think I have like 2 other shows, and then it's pretty much done, which honestly, I already canceled it. So I only got charged for the 1 month, so I won't get charged for the next month. So yay. Thinking ahead of that. I made sure to really quickly do that. And then for Peaceful Rainy Days, I did have to update the target on this to be a custom target, because when I changed it to a monthly target, it took it out of my goals section in the mobile app. And I really wanted it there because I like to see it there. I'm on the mobile app a lot more frequently than I'm on the desktop app, because I just don't have this open all the time. But I'm always looking at the mobile one just to see where I'm at with things. So I wanted it to kind of be there so I could see like just a quick snapshot of where it's at, especially since now everything is kind of like automatic transfers. It's not like I'm going to probably remember that I have this going. So I did change it to a custom one, and I just put the total that I'm supposed to have. And this total makes it so that I'm able to put 851, which was the monthly target. It just keeps that as the target still per month in order to get to the $12,015.01 by the end of the year. Right now we're at $6,057. I already have another 851 that's going to go in there in June. That's going to get us to 69. So making good progress, definitely on track to meet our goal, already over by 50%. I think is it over by yes, it's at 50. So we're at 50, and it's pretty much half of the year is pretty much gone at this point. So that's looking really good. I'm very excited to get to that 12,000. After we hit that 12,000, there's a few things that I could do. I could either go ahead and change my goal as to what I save for the next few years. 12,000 is a little shy of 6 months for me. I think I calculated at around 15. But I want to see sort of what happens with the interest and what I get to. And maybe I'll finish putting some more next year to get to that 15. Or I can just go into something else. So future large purchases type of deal. I do want my dream car, to be honest. I've been wanting my dream car for a very, very, very long time, but I could never justify spending the money to get it. And it's definitely not something that I would get new because it's just too expensive. My dream car has always been, from when I was a little girl, I have wanted a Mazda Miata or an MX-5 or whatever they call it nowadays. I think they canceled the Miata name, that they brought it back, and now it's a Miata MX-5. But I want the hardtop version. Is it like a grandiose car? No, it's not like I'm looking to get like something hundreds of thousands of dollars here and there. I've never looked at those and said, yeah, I want that. And I would never save for that. But I don't know. I like the car. I did test drive one not last year, maybe 2 years ago. And I just loved it. One of those moments where you just want to keep driving. But obviously you can't. You have to return it. So I did. But I still couldn't justify the price, especially on brand new. So that's kind of something that I want to do. I want to save up for that. Save up within the next 2 to 3 years, if that is the next goal that I want to tackle, and see if I can get close or to cash purchase. So if I have enough to be able to just put it all down and I won't have to go into another loan, or if I have enough to get a really, really, really good down payment to where the monthly is going to be very, very, very low and I'll probably be able to get it done relatively quickly. I would rather do cash just to not get into another loan, but a lot can happen within the next few years. So take it 1 year at a time and see kind of where that goes. So that's one of the big purchases that I've had in mind for a while, but emergency fund first. There's no changing my mind on that. Not even with how much my boyfriend's like, but you could get it now. No. I have a really good, reliable car right now. I don't need to get another car, especially a 2-seater like that with what I have, going on with taking my dad to his doctor's appointments and things. The car that I have is much more suited for all of that. So who knows what's going to happen within the next 2 to 3 years. It's a far off dream that's closer than ever, but it's not something that I'm going to rush or anything that I'm going to just go back into debt for. I'm debt free and I want to feel like this for a little bit longer, where I don't have to worry about paying something that kind of just stares at me in the face, and I don't want that again, not anytime soon. I'm very happy having paid off all of the loans and the credit and anything that I had thus far, and I want to just stay this way for a little bit longer. But yes, that is all I have for today. I appreciate you being here and listening and watching as always, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.